Yeah, the psychologist interview takes about 6 hours. It's like a 500 question test plus a really long interview, and they want to make sure you're crazy enough for television and be entertaining, but not so crazy you're going to like attack somebody with knives.
Can you think of any odd questions you were asked?
There's a lot of questions about, have you ever hurt someone when you're angry? If you're upset, have you ever hurt yourself? Have you thought about hurting yourself? It's a lot of, because I mean, once you get eliminated, they actually, within 24 hours, the psychologist has to call you at the little Exilesville and check in and make sure you're okay, because they've had people go like crazy depressed after they get kicked off the show. It's kind of nuts.
I assume that didn't happen with you.
No, I got all my crying out after the show, and then...
But what do you actually do? What are you cooking something?
You're constantly cooking. You're cooking and thinking on your feet and trying to come up with something better than the other 15 people standing around you, so that one of them is going to be on the chopping block and not you. And sometimes that works, and sometimes you're the one on the chopping block.
Can you remember the very first thing they asked you to do?
Very first thing we had to do, I got a little souvenir. I didn't win, but I got a scar. Our very first quickfire was actually the longest quickfire Top Chef ever had. And it was...
What's a quickfire?
Quickfire is the fast elimination, the fast challenge to see who wins immunity.
Okay.
And the first one we had was you had to peel apples. There was either 12 or 15 apples using just a paring knife by hand. And they had to still look like an apple, but you had to get all the skin off of it. And the first 9 people who did it were safe. And then it moved on into 3 other rounds until they actually eliminated somebody during the quickfire. But the very first thing they had us do was peel these apples, and I remember standing between these 2 girls who were way shorter and way closer to the cutting board. And I mean, I'm a tall enough guy, so a regular counter's low for me, but these tables were like knee height. And so I just remember like standing there trying to peel an apple like this, you know, and going through my knife bag, and I had just gotten all of my knives sharpened and, you know, razor edge, and was paying attention and was going, and I watched myself cut a chunk of my thumb off, and then didn't want to get like sent home for that, so I actually just wrapped a towel around my hand and kept going. And I was so focused on the apples and not paying attention to what was going on that I'm looking at my hand and I turned the towel a little bit and I'm holding it, and as I looked up I realized that there's a camera staring right at me, and I hear the producer right behind the cameraman going, "This is good, are you getting it? Are you getting it?" And then Tom blows the whistle to say that, you know, time out, we have a medical timeout. And then they sent the medic over to try to patch me up. Not exactly the way I wanted to meet Tom and Padma for the first time. The medical timeout, and Tom ended up actually coming over because the medic had never worked on he'd done TV stuff and regular medic stuff. He never worked with kitchen people. And so he didn't realize I need to be able to use my thumb. And he wadded like bandage and tape up that was like the size of a baseball on the end of my hand. And I'm trying to do it, and I start, and Tom walks over and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'll be fine, I'm not going home, I'm not going home." And so he blows the whistle again, he calls the medic over, and he goes, "Why don't we do this kitchen style?" Grabs a glove, cuts it off, grabs some tape, and we just bandaged it up, made a little finger cut. And I'm just laughing, and when I looked at him and I said, "So is this like the TV moment where right after you bandage me up, I go back in and I make it into the top, you know, the first 9 and I'm safe?" And he was like, "Well, it would make for good TV," and I ended up being number 9. So that definitely was a redeeming factor for the first thing. That just they put you up in a really nice apartment or a really nice house. And for us, it was 2 floors. It was actually 2 apartments that took up the top floor of this whole brand new condo building in Brooklyn, and it was great. We got to walk in and check it out, and it's like fully loaded, fully decked out. Anything you could be looking for pretty much was there, but you're stuck with the same people, and you realize after a while you don't want to talk to anyone, but there's no radio, no TV, no computer, no magazines. There's nothing to do but eat, sleep, or talk to each other.
And this is not being filmed while you're living with them?
Some of it's filmed. It depends. They film things like you'd be cooking in the kitchen and they'll come home and film you. The only time that they normally didn't film people was the night of an elimination. So there's an elimination, somebody gets sent home, they actually kind of give you the night off to process that, but then they're back first thing in the morning. I am not a morning person by any stretch of the imagination, and I quickly became one after the 2nd or 3rd day, where I woke up to a producer shaking my foot to get me to wake up, and there's a boom mic in your face and a camera guy over here, and you're half asleep, like, wait, what's going on? Where am I? Whoa, whoa, whoa! This is way too many people in a space. So.
Was that because you were eliminated that time?
No, that was actually still on the show. It's just they want to film you, like, you know, as you're getting ready, and they do tons of B-roll stuff in the house. And also, you know, it was the day after the first elimination, so they wanted to get everybody's feedback. Well, hey, what did you think about this person getting eliminated? And they want you to talk to each other, and so it's just kind of crazy to be in that situation where you're not used to waking up with, you know, a whole team of people, and it's not just like one cameraman, one sound guy, and one producer. There's like 6 or 8 pods of these people running around, you know, in each bedroom, in the kitchen. You know, you can't escape it if you try. The only place you can go is in the bathroom. Believe me, a few of us thought about, can we go in there to talk? No, we're all wearing microphones. This won't work.
So, when you did get eliminated, what was it for? Did you not cook something properly, or not as well as others?
According to Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters, it was because it looked like I spit on my s'mores. It was actually we had to do a Thanksgiving challenge for the Foos and their roadies, and it was...
For the who and the roadies?
The Foo Fighters.
Oh, okay.
For the Foo Fighters and their roadies. And it was cooking Thanksgiving dinner for 65 people using one burner, all microwaves and toaster ovens. Outside, and it ended up raining halfway through the challenge. Yeah, so it was definitely one of those challenges where I was okay with going home for it, because it was hard enough, but I got the Top Chef kiss of death. I was making dessert, and the Foos didn't like my dessert, and ultimately the judges thought that was the worst part of our team losing. The rest of our stuff was really good. I made some decent dishes that day, but because I made the worst dish, that was what got me sent.
Did the finalists make any money or anything of value? And what does the winner stand to make?
So it changes season to season. For my season, Hosea won. I think he won $100,000.
No, he's the winner?
Yeah, Hosea won for season 5. I want to say he won $100,000. And as you get closer to the end, there's different. Every season they change it up. So for my season, Carla was one of the finalists. She was the top 3. She won a car in the second to last challenge. Season 6 was in Las Vegas, and they started doing monetary quickfires, where you would win the quickfire challenge and you would get immunity, and you'd win $10,000 or something like that. So as the show has gotten bigger and bigger and progressed more and more sponsors have come on and given them more money and prizes to give away. I mean, the episode I went home, the people who won that challenge won Chef Grant Achatz' new cookbook. You know, like and he autographed and signed it for them and everything like that. You know, sometimes you win immunity, sometimes you win nothing but a pat on the back, sometimes you win a car, and sometimes you just get sent home.
You think you might try it again with this or another program?
I would definitely consider throwing my hat in for something again. I mean, it's a crazy experience, but it's a lot of fun, and I learned a lot. I learned how to not stress out as much. And honestly, I wouldn't have been able to get the restaurant open here for our gang as quickly as I did had it not been for the exposure from that, you know, from the show. If I was just Joe Schmo chef wanting to open up a place, I wouldn't have been able to find the money or the location or, you know, everything kind of lining up. Because I had this Emmy award-winning TV show I could put on my resume, it definitely helps things a little bit. So if I had another opportunity to do it, I'd get my knives together and go give it a shot.